All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our gathering tonight on connectedness and how to stay connected during this time of staying at home. Um, it is so nice outside. I've gone from indoors to outdoors to back indoors and outdoors again today with work and different things I've been working on. So I decided to come out here. We're going to see if the sun's going to be in my eyes soon. And the wind kind of picked up. So had to get a scarf to put around me during this. So anyway, that's my background information of all the things that were on my mind right before I pushed the button. Isn't that wonderful? So let me get my PowerPoint going for us. Okay, where are you, PowerPoint? All right. Hang on here. It's not letting me choose that. So let's go down here and try again. There we are. All right. All right, so we are talking about connectedness tonight. The theme that I have noticed in the last week or so has been people experiencing isolation. And, I think we see a lot of the byproduct of that, of people going out when maybe it's not quite time to do that. I mean, everybody has their own opinion about whether it is or whether it isn't, but, we can certainly see the push either, whether or not we want to be out or not. We can feel that and see that kind of happening in our world. So I wanted to start off with checking in with everybody and how you are doing. Feel free to share in the chat section. Just on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you with all of this? 1 being stir crazy, ready to have a giant social gathering at the park tomorrow for Memorial Day, or 10, oh my gosh, I love this new life. I never want to go back to being around humans again. So somewhere in there, I imagine everybody falls. Just want to see how you're doing with it. And also a couple of other questions to think about also. What is helping you feel connected to other people right now? What's helping you when you feel isolated? What helps you kind of come out of that? And what's helping you feel connected to yourself too? So all of those things we can be looking at today. So one person saying that I'm feeling cautious, somewhere between 5 and 7. Okay, so I love this new life is closer to that. In the middle, I'm missing friends for lunch and other group activities. Yeah. Yes, that's probably about where I am too. It's kind of in the middle. I really am enjoying this quiet time and the less commotion than I usually put myself into. And I'm also ready to go to a beach somewhere and get some sun. So yeah, so maybe about in the middle, enjoying home and wife, closer to 5. I find myself being more isolated. I don't even want to talk to others. Okay. I think I'm going to miss this more than I'm going to be glad to get back the previous way. Yeah, this has been, I don't know. I mean, everybody's experience is different. I realized as I was thinking about this topic that I'm in a situation that I enjoy very much, and I know not everybody is. I know some of my colleagues who are therapists and working from home, have younger kids crawling all over them or knocking at the door or, something, things at home that are getting in the way. And, so everybody has a different experience. Other people are missing missing being at work and missing going out. So I definitely realize that not everyone is enjoying this as much as I am. I really like how nature overtook everything, the birds, the frogs, more ducks, and it feels a shame that that might end if we're all the humans are taking over the world again. Yes. Zoom and phone calls help me feel connected to others, probably somewhere in the middle. Started meditating. Good. Excellent. I'm worried that marching band won't happen this fall and that school will have to start as remote learning again. Yes, I can understand that that's a big concern too. Extending our quarantine to include a very few limited careful family members. Quarantine teaming, I like that. I like that phrase, quarantine teaming, with no hugs and everyone being very careful. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be glad to travel again, but then even more wary of the people around me when I go traveling. Yes, it's definitely been on my mind too. May take walks with great aunt because she's feeling isolated, distance walks. Yes, that's great. That is great, being outside, getting yard work done more this year than any other year. Yeah, yeah. I've taken a couple of distance walks with a couple of my friends recently too, and I've really enjoyed that. It's, I have two people here at my place quarantining with me, and it's been so enjoyable, but it's also nice to get out and talk to other people in person, even though we're distant, and we do air hugs from 6 feet away, if not more. And but it's nice. It's nice to get a change of scenery. It's nice to be out um, and talk to other people in person. Walks and being outside fills me up. Connecting with nature, my higher self. Started a couple projects, a business idea. Quarantining. I like that. That's really great. I like that. I'm going to use that. Quarantining. So that's great. So, okay, good. So we are all kind of on the same page, it sounds like. So I may be preaching to the choir here tonight. That's okay. So we as humans we're both individual and we're social beings. We have connectedness in our DNA. I read an article from Science Daily this week that said in times of danger, our biological instinct is to gather together, not isolate. So not only is the isolation messing with our sense of free will and independence, but it's also messing with that innate socializing when we're not feeling safe. We reach out instead of quarantining with others. So in our current climate, there's this push to gather for connection. And, some of that comes from I want to say that sense of free will that doesn't want anybody telling us what to do. So there's that independence is part of our DNA as well. But there's also that other part that wants to feel safe. And we know as that animal part of us knows that when we're in packs, we're safer, right? So we want that power in numbers as well. All right, so during this time, really the only way to navigate our social isolation, our social distancing, is to know ourselves, to know what is it that we need in order to feel connected and to maintain our connectedness, because that connectedness is very important so that we don't slip into so much isolation that we don't want to talk to other people, or we don't have hope or encouragement or that empowerment and excitement about continuing and moving forward. Move this. Okay, there we go. So we need to ask ourselves, what do I need right now? Do I need physical touch? We're going to talk about the different areas of our physical, or not our physical, but our human expression, and go through some of these. But what is it that we need right now? Do I need physical touch? Do I need to be seen and feel seen by another human being? Sometimes Zoom can qualify that, and sometimes it can't. So what can we do with that? So we're going to talk about that a little bit too. Laughter is very important during this time. Just being able to have fun and be silly and light, that tells our whole mind-body system that, hey, it's safe to have fun. Having fun and laughter means that the environment is safe enough to, laugh hard and we don't have to be so aware of our surroundings. Being in nature, nature is very nourishing. There's actually a type of bacteria in dirt that promotes feeling happy. So when you're planting your flowers this month, or doing your gardening, or even doing your yard work, then you're breathing in that good bacteria that enlivens and helps you feel happy. So nature is very important to lift us. Do you need calm? Do you need to feel safe? Do you need a sense of spiritual connection? All of these things are important to know about yourself, because we can feel like, I'm feeling isolated, but not be able to pinpoint where that is. So asking ourselves is a way to do that. So there's different experiences of connection, and the opposite side of connection is that isolation. So there's different experiences of the isolation. We connect through physical touch. Physical touch promotes the oxytocin to go through our mind-body system, and it reduces cortisol, which is that stress chemistry, part of the stress chemistry that happens within us. And just, it's very important. So how do we do that if we're in social distancing? So we're going to talk about that. We need to feel a sense of emotional belonging. We need to have mental engagement, and we need a sense of spiritual connection, whatever that means to you. So balance in these areas is everything. Each is interrelated. If we're feeling isolated emotionally, it's going to affect how we're feeling mentally. It's going to affect how we're feeling physically. It's going to affect our spiritual connection. And that's true for all of them. It's kind of like one of those mobiles that hang from the ceiling, or you made when you were a kid on a hanger, that with all the little things hanging down. And if you take one off, then the whole mobile is out of balance. So again, knowing yourself, knowing where am I out of balance right now, and what do I need to do about it, is the way to get things back into balance. And being perfectly balanced isn't the goal. Maneuvering the ups and downs of the morphing of this balance, that from day to day, from moment to moment, is the goal. And doing that with compassion for ourselves and for what's going on around us. So mental engagement, I'm doing this one first because this is probably the easiest and the least investment we have in this sometimes. So mental engagement is just making sure our minds have food. Our minds are very curious, and they enjoy activity. So, having a phone call with a friend or our Zoom connections can help us engage mentally. Reading, learning, resting, creating, and even TV, even your Netflix binging is mental engagement, and if you're not overdoing it, it's fine. And it's true for anything. If we're not overdoing anything, it's great. It's part of that balance. It's part of that, keeping things different, keeping things new and novel, and which helps keep the mind engaged and excited and interested in what's going on, even if we've been in the same house for 3 months straight. So emotional connection is the next area to be aware of. And that's just about being aware of what's going on inside of you. How are you feeling? That's why our connection times, our check-in times are so important. How are you feeling right now? What are you thinking about? Are your thoughts promoting connection? Are your thoughts promoting isolation? Where is your thinking right now? Where is it leading you? What are your needs? Do you need to have a change of scenery? Do you need to connect with that person that you're really missing? Then talking about it. You can journal and talk about it to yourself through your writing. You can talk with friends and family, of course, but be sure to ask for what you need. Be sure to be clear what you need. And as you're checking in with yourself first, that helps you clarify what your needs are. And then you ask for extra support. I'm extra support. I'm a therapist. There's therapists. There's who else is out working right now? I know of chiropractors that are working right now. There's lots of ways you can get support if you're safe. I'm not promoting you going to doctor's offices or anything, but when you need extra support, you need extra support. So that is important, to have that emotional connection. So we talked about this a while back in one of our Sunday night gatherings. This is the 3-step process to find out what's going on inside of you. So the first step is asking, what is the emotion I'm feeling? What am I feeling right now? And name it, name that feeling, name it to tame it. So are you feeling, isolated? Are you feeling sad, fear, frustration? And just let yourself identify what that feeling is. And then the second step, what story am I telling myself that is causing me to feel this way? And I would adjust this tonight for what we're talking about is, what am I feeling? Okay, and maybe I'm feeling isolated. Okay, what is the isolation? In what area am I feeling isolated? Do I need physical touch? Do I need a friend to talk to? Do I need to be seen? Do I need somebody to just listen to me? Do I need that mental engagement of having a light, fun, or intellectual fun conversation with somebody that I know and align with? What do I need right now? And then the third step is, what new perspective could I take that would be calming to me? Well, that's our action step, right? So it could be meditation, it could be going for a walk, it could be calling that friend on the phone or on Zoom. And this is just a nice, quick check-in that you can do anytime. There's also, good friend of mine told me about this. There's a website called human.online, and it's not .com afterwards. Online is the what would that be, the suffix to that, I guess. So it's just human.online, where you can spend 1 minute, I believe, just looking into the eyes of another human being on the planet. You go to this website. I took this picture from their homepage, and just connect with somebody. And if you look at this picture, I invite you to do that right now. Just look at this picture for a few moments. I'll stop talking so you can do that, and just notice what you feel as you gaze into her eyes. And I'm very curious what you notice, so please do share in the chat section. Somebody beat me to that, so good for you. You knew I was going to ask. Warmth, connection, beauty. What did you feel in your body? What did you feel in your own body? Connection, what did that feel like in your body? And anybody can answer that. What did you notice happening inside? It's nice. I feel a smile, feel like I recognize her. Ah, that one choked me up a little bit. Feel teary-eyed. I see compassion. I felt a smile too, peaceful. One of my favorite activities I do when I've taught mindfulness classes in the past is that having an eye gaze mindfulness with another person, and just being there, looking into the eyes of another person without judgment, being present with them without judgment. And it is so hard to do that. It's hard to do that without judging. It's hard to do that without feeling judged or feeling self-conscious. It's hard to do that, when, and a lot of times when, if it's if there's some kind of attraction there, that gets in the way and makes it very difficult just to be there with the other person as a human being. And because it touches something so deep inside of us. And I love this website because there's such a safe place to go and be with another person and feel that connection with somebody you don't know, somebody from another part of the world that is going through the same thing you're going through right now, and to connect with them in a very safe, socially distant way that feels very close. I'm feeling prompted to eye gaze into my own eyes in a mirror, which also scares me. Okay, yeah, absolutely. And what a wonderful thing to try this week. You know, to do that and to just be there for you, to be there for yourself, to look into your own eyes and feel that love and tenderness and compassion. And even if that's not what comes up at first, which likely it's not, you know, that critical voice is going to jump in there and, you know, want to fix your hair or your teeth or your makeup or your wrinkles or whatever. I'll speak for myself, but you know, but if you let that voice, just don't engage it, just listen to it and let it move on by and be there for you. What do you see? What do you see? I imagine that will bring up a lot. So what a beautiful exercise. Thank you for suggesting that to us. All right. So yeah, human.online. You can visit there anytime. All right, so let's talk about physical connection. One of the reasons I saved this after the mental and the emotional. The mental and emotional, I think, are more obvious to us, but the physical connection, um, that's obvious, but it's not as obvious as to how to get that need met when we're socially distancing from each other. So if you have a pet, you've got that physical connection. If you have other people with you, you have that physical connection. You can ask for a hug. If you're living in the same house, I don't know if people are social distancing when they're in the same house, but you know, but if you're not, you can have that, you know, hold somebody's hand or get a hug, or again, with pets, having a pet to hold and touch and get that oxytocin going that gets released when we have physical connection with a human being or a pet being or even a plant being. Um, Physical touch releases oxytocin, it reduces our cortisol levels, and it calms our cardiovascular stress. So how do we enhance that physical connection online? Another article. All these articles just kind of popped up that backed up the theme for this week. And what they this is a Science Daily article, and what it said was if we can give ourselves, if we're on a Zoom call or a video call of any kind, and we can give our brains that physical, no, if we can give our brains that sense of physical touch, it does the same thing as if we were really touching the other person. So one of the things that the article recommended is, like, you know, if you're on a Zoom call with your grandchild and you just want to hold them and you're not able to, you can give them a high five. That was the thing. So you do some way where you're high fiving them, and on the screen, like, you could see my hand coming in, and if why don't you give me a high five right now and see how that feels? Okay, I'm coming in, my hand's coming in, my hand's coming in, there it is, all right. So we get a high five that does nearly the same thing as actual physical touch. You know, so it's interesting to try different ways of doing that, like a virtual hug. Like, you go up and you hug your computer, and with the other person on there, it still gives your mind body system the sense that you are connected physically with that other person. So it's not the same as being in person, of course, but that it gives the mind body system, it fools the mind body system into, I don't want to say it fools it, our imaginations are really powerful. So if we can imagine that actual physical touch by some physical action that we're doing, then it still releases that calming, regulating chemistry in the mind body system, and it feels good to us, and it satisfies that sense of touch and need for touch. All right. All right, and we've got a comment here about the next thing that we're talking about too. So giving yourself that sense of connection with yourself. And Kristen Neff is a psychologist and researcher who did a lot of books and research and books and workbooks and different things on self-compassion. She is the self-compassion researcher. If you search her name, her website is actually called selfcompassion.org. And she talks about something called gentle loving touch. And, again, remembering from the earlier slide, that physical touch releases oxytocin, reduces cortisol, and calms cardiovascular stress. So if you feel tense, upset, self-critical, isolated, try giving yourself a warm hug or tenderly stroking your arm or face or gently rocking your body. Now, one of the things that is important, and I guess I have it right here too, is that you make your intention, you have the intention that conveys love. You have the intention that conveys compassion and tenderness while you do this. So it's not just like, okay, I'm going to give myself a hug and I should feel better. It's no, it's like I am really having the intention of holding myself and giving myself a hug like I would a friend who is feeling isolated and needed some physical touch, who needed a hug to help soothe whatever was going on for them. So your intention for yourself needs to be that which you would do for another person. When I suggest this to people in my practice, even if somebody's in a meeting, like when we go back to meetings in person one of these days, and we're feeling stress in the meeting, if we can just gently caress, hold our shoulder and just give it a little squeeze, caress it a little bit, but with that intention of, it's okay. I know these people are driving you crazy right now, but it's okay. You're all right. Everything's going to be okay. And we can do that for ourselves when it's not available to us for somebody else to do that for us. And it's really important to notice that that's what our need is, right? Because we can't get it met if we don't know it's there, but also that to know that we can do that for ourselves. And again, we're social creatures, so it's good to have others around us and in our world and in our lives. We're not an island. We can't just, survive all by ourselves. And there's a heck of a lot we can do for ourselves to help keep us going, to help keep us in balance as we're going through life, because the pandemic is kind of a microcosm of a macrocosm of the ups and downs of life anyway, and we're just kind of in this condensed vessel of that. So this is about learning how to maneuver and manage ourselves and all these different expressions of who we are with all these ups and downs, with, oh my gosh, things are going to open up. Yeah, I'm not so sure about me wanting to do that. Or yes, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get out of there. Or, whatever, however it is that you're feeling, there's still always that need of like, okay, well, how do I take care of me? How do I be in touch with my own needs in this situation? All right. So spiritual connection. So having a sense of a higher power of any kind increases our sense of safety, belonging, purpose, and acceptance. And not just acceptance of what's happening in the world, that, people who would say they have a sense of spirituality, a sense of something greater than themselves, would say, yeah, there's probably a plan. This whole pandemic is probably in a plan. I'm not talking about human government plans or whatever. I'm talking about, there's a higher purpose for this. And if we can see the good out of it, then, we're all going to be better for it. I noticed that in my practice over the years, people who have a sense of that spiritual connection heal more easily, because they understand that even if I don't know what the higher purpose is of life, even if I don't like it, I know somebody knows better than I do. Something knows better than I do. So if I just kind of deal with what I have to deal with in front of me, everything else will be taken care of. And without that, it can feel really desolate and purposeless, And again, that's just my experience. I'm obviously a spiritual person. That's important to me, but just from looking and working with people over the years of all sorts of places of their spirituality, whether it's, from atheists to gung-ho into whatever, you know, it does make a difference in our healing and being able to grapple with the things that happen. Um, so yeah. So meditation of any kind also, if it's a walking meditation, if it's yoga, if it is reading a book that has spiritual material that you resonate with, all of that enhances your sense of spiritual connection. Meditation specifically quiets the mind and opens our perception to that which is beyond ourselves, that which is beyond the physical reality, that which is beyond the kids playing in the other yard, um, that which is beyond what we're experiencing right now, that there's something more to life. And it reinforces our inner experience of oneness, which is connected. You know, how can we be isolated when at the core of every atom of our bodies is a light that is one with everything, you know, or whatever it is that you believe. But meditation also, just from a more sciencey level, meditation brings the mind-body system into a state of regulation where everything, like our quick breath does, where everything feels like it's flowing, everything is calm, our heart rate is calm, our breathing is calm, our muscles are relaxed and can kind of ease into more relaxation. And that regulation is what, you know, is above a 5 on that spiritual thermometer, and it helps us deal with whatever's happening around us. So again, what is the purpose of reflecting or finding this balance, but to know ourselves better and to also know how to manage all the different things that are happening in the world, whether it's a pandemic or stress at work or stress in a family or anything. All of this is about taking care of ourselves and staying in a flow of movement and support of our uplifted state of mind. So with that said, let me see, I think that was, yeah, so let me go back. So I want to stay on this slide and see if there are any questions. And then if not, we'll go ahead and do a meditation for a little while, because that is, we're going to enhance our spiritual connection that helps reduce our sense of isolation overall. So you guys must be ready for meditation because nobody is saying anything. All right, so that's great. I'm all for that. So I want to do like we did with our brain spotting for calm night. That was our second week a long time ago now. But to enhance our sense of connectedness, whether it's physical connection or emotional connection or spiritual connection, but just that sense of connectedness that lifts us out of any feeling of isolation and aloneness that we might be experiencing, whether we're not experiencing it now, but maybe during the day sometime, or at any point. You know, we can tune in and use this experience of tonight to reconnect with that inner connection during those times of isolation. So I invite you to get comfortable in your chairs. We're going to start with the quick breath. We're going to breathe in to the count of 4 and breathe out to the count of 4. And just repeat that. And then we'll add elements as we go, but we're going to start out with this quick breath. Into the count of 4 and out to We count to 4 to the full count, counting 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. And when you feel you have your breath in a rhythm that flows, it doesn't take as much thought as when you started, let your attention go to the tip of your heart, the tip of your physical heart. Just imagine where it is. If it helps to put your finger on your sternum at the point that you visualize that might be, it gives you a little gentle, loving touch moment as well. It also helps to kind of mark that spot where your attention goes. Continue that breath, 4 in, 4 out. And now gently do a scan of your body head to toe. Just notice where you feel the most connected. If you need to think of it as the least isolated, you can do that too. But where you feel that sense of safety, belonging, acceptance, peace of mind. Could be a sense of patience. Just notice where it feels the strongest in your body right now. We're going to add the brain spotting eye position to this now. So I invite you to notice that place in your body that you've identified, where your sense of connection feels the strongest. Then open your eyes. Just let them be at eye level, where you're looking not up or down, but just looking ahead of you. And then at that eye level, take your eyes off to the right, and then slowly scan that x-axis, just right in front of you. Maybe you're scrolling a wall, maybe you're scrolling the room. Just left to right, and notice where it felt the strongest as your eyes went from right to left. And if you didn't notice exactly, just scroll back left to right. Where does that sense of connectedness feel the strongest? And then when you've found that place, Then in that y-axis, up and down, see if you can notice if there's any difference if your eyes go up from that spot. If that helps the connection feel stronger, or if it feels not as strong, just notice that. And then go back down. And then find in that up and down area from your eye position to where that feels the strongest. And so now you have that place in your body, you have your eye position. If you need to adjust your body a little bit, your head might move naturally to orient towards that eye position. Just let it. Just let it. Once you hang out with your eyes in that position, with your eyes open, you can. If you want to close your eyes, you can. Let your eyes rest in that direction, and let your attention go to that part of your body that feels the most connected. And we're just going to marinate in that connectedness. Feel and notice what happens inside when you let yourself just be there. And it's okay if other thoughts come and go. Just let your focus return, your attention return to that place in your body that feels the most connected. I'm going to add to this too, the gentle, loving touch. You can put a loving, kind hand on that area that feels the most connected for you. Just feel how that magnifies that sensation. And it's okay if your mind even feels antsy or unsettled around this process, because we're challenging that instinctual drive for safety that comes from our primitive brain. Just notice it, have compassion. And let it keep moving. And then you can feel that sense of connection strong enough within your own mind body system right now. Just let that expand. Let that expand to everyone in your home right now, everyone in your building, everyone in your neighborhood. Everyone in your state. Everyone in your region. In your country. Your continent. Your hemisphere. The whole planet. Each human being having that center of connectedness within themselves, within their mind-body system. Let your attention come back to that, slowly back to that place in your own mind-body system that feels that connection the strongest. Feel the strength of that connection, the wisdom. Support. This is the inner wisdom, the connection that supports you anytime you feel stressed, anytime you feel alone, afraid, frustrated, angry. You can come to this place, not just to soothe those emotions, but to find your solution. The solution in the moment that is in the best interest of all concerned. can help you know what you need for your own balance. It can help you know what you need for your own safety. It can help you know what's needed for those who are around you. And let the sensation that you're deeply into right now be your inner sanctuary, your room of perfect solution. Perfect solution for any moment of need. And come to this room within you whenever you might need it. Give your room a name, whether it's the spiritual solution room or your inner sanctuary, whatever you would like to call it. Just feel what it feels like. Feel the love and the support, the help, the peace, the wisdom that this room offers anytime. For peace of mind, our mind-body system regulation is our spiritual connection. And we are the spiritual keepers of this room. The more we check in, the more we support, the more we pay attention to it, the better it supports us. So now I invite you to make a commitment to yourself of some kind to visit this room every day. Visit it when you have worries, visit it when you need peace, visit it when you feel good. Now let your attention return to your breath. Breathing in to the count of 4. Breathing out to the count of 4. Notice where your eyes are. It's okay if it's moved from your eye position. So that's how things process sometimes. Feel your body in your chair. Your feet on the floor. And when you're ready, open your eyes if they're not already. I invite you all this week to as always, practice checking in with yourselves. Practice visiting this room that you have now created in your mind-body system, reinforced by your attention and your focus. And see what shows up for you around it. We are not alone. We're not alone on Sunday nights. We're not alone during the day. We're not alone ever. We can tune into the heartbeat of all of humanity anytime and touch in with ourselves to know what we need to do to support ourselves, to support our feeling of being together. So thank you all for coming tonight, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye-bye for now.